Alessi pulls up alongside. He's going to try an outside line. Maybe I want to call him the boss. He is trying to take charge of this series. What a season it has been under the Suzuki tent. First, it looks like this is Mike Alessi's title to win. He dominates the first 3 rounds and builds up a sizable points lead. Mike Alessi wins Moto #1 at Hangtown, but Alessi suffers a debilitating injury before round 4. Enter Chad Reed. The Australian is a proven Supercross contender, but he had never won a 450 motocross race. But Reed took care of that at Mount Morris, and he has assumed the points lead. Now Alessi is back, just 2 short weeks after breaking his kneecap. The pretty 21-year-old must summon all of his courage. Climb aboard his Suzuki and get back in the title hunt. Real-life drama to be played out under the lights. The Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is set to get underway right now on Speed. We're at 6,100 feet of elevation, high atop Colorado's Thunder Valley Raceway in Lakewood, Colorado. Round 5 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Jason Wygant joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emmett. It has been a phenomenal season in the 450 class of AMA Pro Motocross so far, and we're going to race for the only time this year under the lights. It should just keep getting better, Jeff.
Well, there's no doubt about it. This has been a very unpredictable championship. The door has been open for a couple of riders, and Mr. Consistent has walked through it with the injuries of Villapoto and Alessi. Now, Reed, who was a late entry even into this championship, built some momentum, got some wins at High Point, took over the points lead, and like he always says, you got to be in it to win it, and Chad Reed is here to win this championship.
Now, we thought out of it was Mike Alessi, who led the points earlier in the year and then broke his kneecap in 3 places practicing for our previous event at High Point. But amazingly, 3 weeks later, Alessi is back, and here he is in practice, ready to try to race.
Well, and for Alessi to come back in such a short time, you know that that knee hurts, and he's going through a tremendous amount of pain. It just shows you how much the AMA Motocross Championship means to these riders, okay? This is lifelong dreams that they're trying to achieve. For Alessi, this was a golden opportunity that is starting to slip away from him with this injury. If he could ride here tonight and salvage some points, he could put himself back in the position. But I'm telling you, with a knee injury like that, it is going to be tough and it's going to be painful.
That's Mike in practice. He was okay, 14th fastest in practice, and then comes the race. We'll show you what happens in Moto #1, and here's the bad news. The risk you take when you race motocross, here's the downside. Take us through it, Jeff.
This is after a great start by Mike Alessi in the first lap. Grant comes in with a very aggressive move, just cleans the front wheel out, and look at Alessi. He's trying to grab his knee. You can tell he's in a tremendous amount of pain, and riders are still trying to get by. So right then we thought, okay, season's over for Alessi. This is it. Now, look, he still tries to get back on the bike. He manages to balance his weight, try to stand on that left leg. Goes out, rides a couple laps, but as you can see, he's way off the pace and just going through too much pain to continue.
And eventually, Alessi would pull off the track. That was the end of Moto #1. Aaron caught up with him in his motorhome.
Well, guys, Mike Alessi is wincing in pain. He's just made his way off the track. As you can see, he's got his knee already iced. Mike, off to a phenomenal start. Take us through, from your perspective, what happened out there.
Yeah, it was a great start. I was, 28th, 29th pick on the start grade, and I was way outside. I made a great start. I think I was second or third right there off the start, and quite a few guys got by me right there in the beginning, because their pace was going really fast right from the beginning, and I knew that was going to happen. But I was trying to stay with those guys, and then all of a sudden, someone just came in the inside and hit me really hard, and that took me down. And the first thing I felt was my knee, obviously because it fell. But I think it's okay. We just got to ice it, and I don't know. I think I could still try and make the second moto. That's my mentality. I don't give up, and even after I crashed, I tried to go another 2 laps, but it was hurting. So I'm going to try and do the second moto, I think, but we'll talk it over with the team.
Well, we were all surprised to see you back as early as you have, but congratulations on a phenomenal performance out there, an Ironman effort. We look to see you back for Moto #2.
Yeah, thank you again.
Unbelievable. You see all the emotion there. Pain, sadness. What Mike Alessi is going through, frustration.
Yeah,
you're right. And the ice pack Can he make it back for Moto 2? We're live on speed waiting for the answer, and oh, there it is. Now the pain sets in. He put a stiff upper lip on for the interview with Aaron, but we'll see if Mike can summon the courage to race Moto number 2. The riders are on the gate. Stay with us here live on speed. Because the sun has set. The only night race of the season. Jason Wigan and Jeff Emming here to give you the call. The riders are ready at the gate for Moto number 2. Let's show you the highlights of Moto number 1, which was done in daylight here in Colorado.
And off the start, it was a drag race up to the top of the hill. Lack of horsepower, but it was number 9. Ivan Tedesco grabbing the start, and Mike Alessi was actually second.
Incredible. And his teammate, Chad Reed, makes the move on Alessi. Here's the problem with a good start with Alessi. He had fast guys. Here's company. Josh Grant gets into Mike. That's the worst thing that can happen. Mike riding with a broken left kneecap. That would essentially knock him out of that moto.
Mike, you can see just a pile up after pile up, and Alessi's wondering if he was going to get ran over once again. He grimaces in pain there, just grabbing his knee. We thought, okay, definitely over. Keeps his goggles on, though, and rode a couple more laps and finally pulled the Suzuki off. Said that was enough, but it's just too much pain.
Well, he was out of the points after that crash, so the question was, could he rebound for Moto 2? Meanwhile, Tedesco taking advantage of that good start out front. His teammate Andrew Short on the 29 in the number 2 spot pushed hard with Jake Moss on the 42 and Chad Reed on the 22, 3rd and 4th. There was no challenging Tedesco in this one. Here's Reed making a move on Moss.
Yeah, and Reed he really wasn't focused at the beginning part of this moto, and finally towards the middle to end, he got it together, was able to reel in Moss. Grant put in so-so ride, had a great effort though, was consistent, kept it on 2 wheels, but first one it was all about number 9.
And the people were pumped. Tedesco grew up in this neck of the woods. He has not won a race in years. He takes the checkered flag in Moto 1, and people are happy. And Tedesco, talk about how much this means to these guys to win. That meant a lot to Tedesco. We'll show you the results of the moto. His teammate Short 2nd, Reed 3rd. Reed was not happy with that performance. After the 1-1 performance 2 weeks ago in Pennsylvania, Reed wanted to win. He'll have to hope to rebound in Moto number 2. There's your top 10. Let's go down to Aaron on the start with our progressive pre-race report. Aaron.
Well, guys, just moments ago, I made my way over to the factory Makita Suzuki trailer to confirm whether or not Mike Alessi is going to be racing during the 2nd moto. When I ran into team manager Roger DeCoster, he said he wasn't sure. And that's when Mike Alessi's mechanic, Tim McAdams, known as Toolman, came around the corner and confirmed that he will not be racing this 2nd moto. After a devastating day, he's decided to sit out and allow some appropriate time to heal.
All right, thanks, Aaron, and that's the smart move for Mike. Now, in the elevation here, there's so many things to deal with. Mike had to deal with injury, but we're at night, the only time this year, 6,100 feet elevation. Just talk about how difficult that is to set up a bike, Jeff.
Well, it is, and it's going to make it easier for the guys with fuel injection, but I'm telling you, it's hard on the engine, robs the horsepower. They try to raise the compression in the engine. They add a couple more teeth on the rear sprocket, make it a little quicker, but, you know, there's just no replacing that air.
Here's the 4-1-1 for those of you new to motocross. Here's how it works. 2-moto format, 40 riders in each. 30 minutes plus 2 laps is the distance for each moto. We will combine the scores from both to come up with an overall winner. In case of a tie, the tiebreaker goes to those who finish better in the 2nd moto. And what this means is 30 seconds to the race starts. Once that card goes sideways, then the riders will focus on the starting gate. And when that gate drops, they drop the hammer and go racing. And it's an uphill start and some very deep dirt. So it really, really robs the horsepower of the bikes. The elevation, the deep dirt, and the uphill start, even on a 450cc motorcycle.
Yeah, and you can see the starting grid across the top there. That's actually from qualifying. So Josh Grant lines up first. He was the fastest qualifier. Can he do it again?
He was 5th in Moto 1. He wants to rebound in Moto 2. Here we go. And it's the Hondas again. Tedesco and Short are going to share it. And Tedesco has got his 2nd whole shot of the day. Chad Reed in 3rd.
Michael Byrne actually on the Rockstar Makita Suzuki in 3rd.
I think
just
Reed got
behind.
shoved around, yeah.
Just a really intense track here in Lakewood. As you can see, the sun has set. There's shadows, the holes and the bumps, the ruts. Gets so incredibly difficult to maneuver. This is going to be one of the most challenging nights of racing in all of AMA Motocross.
That's right. The only time this year we race under the lights, of course, we do it in Supercross, but that's a stadium. The lighting obviously a lot different than in an over 1 mile long outdoor track. And look at Short going after his teammate Tedesco here on lap 1.
Well, this is for the overall. Local boy Andrew Short would like to make this his first win this season here. Kind of the hometown crowd thing going on. But Ivan Tedesco was unstoppable the first moto. There was this similar situation off the start. Tedesco wheelied away.
But not this time. Here comes Short to the inside, challenging his teammate. How rough will they get with each other? They ride into the same tent. So far, Tedesco able to hold on to the deep ruts, which are so hard to see in the darkness here in Colorado. And a mistake by Short. Tedesco extends it by just a few bike lengths.
Well, and the track has changed a lot since the first moto. It's gotten quite a bit rougher, and you can see all those dark spots for the riders at the speed that they're on, and all the undulation and moving around. It gets so hard to see. So this first lap around, they're not sure how deep those holes are, where the right lines are. So they're having to learn this track as they go this moto.
The lighting much improved over the debut night race. Last year they had 7 big light towers last year. This year they have 9. And as you can see, it's dark in sections, but you can see the reflection off the bikes. It's definitely bright enough for these riders to find lines and find places to pass. And that's what Andrew Short wants to do with his teammate. Here is the 26 of Byrne in third. Byrne getting stronger by the week. Starting the season with a shoulder injury. He's a veteran out of Australia. And how about Tommy Hahn, a rookie in the big 450 class? He's in fourth. That's the best start we've seen this year out of Tommy.
Yeah, and Tommy Hahn, he's recovering from an injury earlier this year, too. Michael Byrne was 6th in the first moto. Tommy Hahn was 7th, so this is a battle within the battle here. This is going to be for an overall position. These guys are close. Both put in fantastic rides the last couple of weeks, really gaining some momentum, and the teams have to be extremely happy. Just like 48 here, Tommy Hahn on that Candidate Pet Food Kawasaki. This team, he was actually slated to ride a 250F, but last season he had a couple of rides on the 450 where he just showed so much promise. They went ahead, threw him on the big board, and now he's proved that that was the right thing for him and the right move for the team to, you know, go with what he thought was best.
Yeah, that is a factory support team, that CanadaMotorsport.com team. Oh, Jeff Alessi is off the racetrack. That's Mike's younger brother, and he looks a little beat up as well. So definitely a tough day for the Alessi family.
Yeah, he's on that Moto Concepts Honda that's had some pretty good finishes to see Eric Sorby there. Yeah, he's holding his shoulder collarbone area. That definitely not good. When you can't hold it up like that, that means there's some serious damage going on. And right now, some serious damage is what the Honda boys are throwing out here. Moto number 1, now they're repeating it once again in Moto number 2. Just behind them is Byrne and Hahn. And actually, Ricky Dietrich, the off-road rider who has just had some great rides here in AMA Motocross. Great start, he's up into 5th.
And Chad Reed, our series points leader, who struggled to finish 3rd in Moto 1, 9th at the end of lap 1 of Moto 2. So Reed going to give up a lot of points today unless he can wick it up. There's Dietrich, the converted off-road rider. He is the champion of the Enduro Cross Series. It's an indoor off-road series. They ride over telephone poles, through man-made water holes. But he's obviously pretty fast here outdoor on a motocross track.
I mean, he's shown some incredible talent for what he does in his range of skills on a motorcycle is just unbelievable.
Let's go down to Aaron with more on the Kawasaki team. Get down Aaron in second. There is Dietrich, the 539. He inherited that bike from Ryan Villapoto, who a lot of people thought was the odds-on favorite for this championship. That Villapoto hurt his knee. And that's Dietrich's bike right now.
Hey, and I've ridden these bikes before, these factory Cowies. It's incredible what the race teams do to an already phenomenal bike. And all the 4-stroke 450s, I mean, they're awesome, right? The power and everything's there, and they just make them even better. And the throttle response and the torque that these engines have, I mean, these 450 bikes are awesome. And now for Dietrich, this is like living a dream to ride the Monster Energy Kawasaki factory bike.
Yeah, motivation not a problem for Ricky Dietrich. He wants to show what he has. We'll be back after this. We're just getting started live on Speed here in Moto 2 from Colorado. Can Tedesco hold on and win it? Stay with us. They call it Thunder Valley, 6,100 feet of elevation, motocross racing in Colorado. And how do you set up a motorcycle to ride in these conditions? Well, that's the subject of today's Tech Tip with Jeremy Albrecht. Let's get to it.
All right, this week's Tech Tip, I'm going to talk to you guys about jetting. We're actually at the altitude, so the thing we're going to do is this is actually a bigger needle and a smaller main jet. And it's actually going to restrict the fuel to lean the bike out so it doesn't use as much fuel. And then we're also going to put on a bigger sprocket for the hills, because in the altitude it doesn't have as much response. So this is going to help pick that up. And then on the tires, we actually have one that will dig a little more depending on the weather and depending on how much the motor really gets pulled down out there. This one's spread out and digs more. This one's more like a hard pack tire that's closer together and doesn't dig as much. So we're going to let you know later on what we're going to do.
Well, we checked in with those guys, Jeremy and the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota Yamaha team, and they're two different riders, picked two different tires.
Yeah, it's interesting because that tire on the left with the big, tall knobs, the wide spacing that's made for the soft compounds, Cody Cooper was using that. Josh Grant was using the intermediate terrain, which, you know, kind of in between like the soft sandy mud and like the hard pack. You can see this track has got a couple of different sections. For me, I always like to pick what was going to work off the start, and I'll deal with the rest of the track later. But I'm telling you, here tonight, it's whatever the Red Bull Honda guys are doing. Whew, that's what's working, because they are flying.
Also flying, Hahn in third, has closed up on Short in second. Hahn, that means he's got some factory support with that motorsport.com team. They're not a full factory Monster Kawasaki squad, but they do get some of the good parts, certainly enough of them to challenge the factory teams, and that's what Hahn is doing right now.
Well, and once again, this team, this candidate Pet Food Kawasaki, was a team that was set up to bring, you know, the riders on the 250Fs up through Kawasaki's Team Green up into the pro ranks, but Hahn went for the bigger bike, and this is where the big bike matters. Here, all this horsepower from the 450 coming through, and look around the first turn once again, Ivan Tedesco.
Progressive hole shot replay, it's just like what we had in Moto 1. Tedesco grabbed both hole shots in both motos. That's why he's got the lead.
Just about a carbon copy, even through the ranks, minus Michael Lessie.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, there is Short in the number 2 spot. The gap is 5.5 seconds. On the opening few laps, Short was able to challenge his teammate Tedesco. We thought he might make a pass, but Tedesco has definitely found his groove now and is extending it. Tedesco has not won on this tour since Washougal a few weeks after racing in Colorado way back 2005. That's a long gap. Can Tedesco get the victory? How about Tommy Hahn? Can he get through that wall of Honda riders?
Well, Tommy Hahn eventually worked his way past Michael Byrne there, and just, I'm telling you, I can't say enough good things about Tommy here. He's joined by his brother Will, who rides for that KTM team in the 250 class, so kind of the family affair here, but just showing so much heart, showing that he's got the dedication and the work ethic, because right now he is just a couple spots from the pinnacle of the sport of motocross right here, and he's reeling in the local boy Andrew Short. He's closing up. He's only about 3 seconds, about 2.5 behind Andrew Short, and he's closing up every lap.
There's Michael Byrne in fourth, veteran out of Australia. Byrne, the bad shoulder at the beginning of the year, had some rough motos early, but he has gotten stronger and stronger, and this is another solid one. He is in fourth. He's the teammate and the country mate of Chad Reed, and we'll see if we can find Reed, who's working his way through traffic. Then you've got Dietrich behind Byrne, and Kyle Summers, an off-road rider, does very well here in the elevation, followed by Josh Grant. Grant is in 7th, and we're still waiting for Chad Reed. There he is. Kyle Keelan leading Chad Reed right now. It has been a rough day for our series points leader.
Yeah, and that's Reed almost gets into Keelan. It's interesting because Reed, to me, he had all of the momentum coming into this event.
Absolutely.
Okay, he grabs a points lead, Alessi's out, Reed goes and wins High Point. It's like, okay, everything's great. And he's even stated here today that he just hasn't been on it. And you know, this is a track that in my opinion, I thought Chad Reed would really like, that he'd be on it. But there's something going on with him, just, you know, mentally, that he's just not, you know, focused as he, as he can be. Certainly is not riding with the intensity as what we've seen him before.
And it's not only winning the race last time out at High Point, it's the way he did it. He hunted down both of the Honda riders, Short and Tedesco, to establish himself as the man in this series. Both Short and Tedesco had a chance to win that race, and Reed said, "You're not going to beat me." And I really thought that statement would power Reed through the rest of the year, but instead the Honda riders have rebounded. They went 1-2 in Moto number 1. They're 1-2 in Moto number 2, and Reed is struggling just to get into the top 5 here. Takes a look over his shoulder. He's in 8th place. How far up in the order can Reed go? We've got plenty of racing left to try to find out. Stay with us here, live on Speed. We have 3 riders tied for the points lead in MotoGP. That's going to be an epic event next weekend.
All of those races up there are incredible, and we are having it here tonight. I'm telling you, Ivan Tedesco showing these guys how it's done.
Got to deal with so much. We talked about the elevation, and then of course they're racing at night. And we talked to some of these guys before we went racing about what that means, racing under the lights. Let's hear from the boys and how they adjust.
Yeah, I'm excited for the night race. You know, being a guy that loves Supercross, you know, I love being at night. It seems like the crowd is, you know, a little more intense and a little more relaxed.
It's great for the sport, the fans. It's a great show, and it seems more like a festival. You know, it seems like there's a lot going on, and that promoter does a lot of great things with the big screens around the track so that everybody can see it, and you're out of the heat and the sun. So that part's great.
Riding under the lights is difficult, I think, you know, just because it's so spread out, and, you know, you got ruts and elevation change. It kind of plays a factor in that, and, you know, for some of the riders, they struggle with it, but for the most part, you know, some of the top guys, we actually enjoy it. It makes it kind of tough, and, you know, it separates the field a lot.
Well, the riders were all fired up, apparently, about racing at night when the weekend began. But I would think guys like Grant and Reed, who maybe came in here with expectations of winning the race, they might want to change their night game. Ivan Tedesco is the one that's got it figured out.
Oh, he certainly has, and it started with a desire to make up for last week after he fell with the lead in the first moto. See the front wheel skip out on him just a little bit there, but Hot Sauce has been dialed in there. From the drop of the gate in Moto 1, you could just tell that he was grabbing a hold of this, the trophy that he's going to get here tonight, if he can pull this off for this win with just a tremendous amount of desire that, okay, I proved that I can do it in High Point. I didn't get it done, but now I'm going to show everybody that I can win this thing. And with this bad moto that Reed's having running back in 8th, he's going to gain a bunch of points and put himself back into position. Now, he's lost some points this year, but wins, 25 points each win. This is how you get back into the championship. I mean, this is a great ride for Ivan. It's been a phenomenal night.
Years ago, when Ivan was in the 250 class, there were not many people predicting he would win the championship. He stayed consistent and in the hunt. And then midway through, when we came to Colorado, he busted out his first ever victory and then followed that up by winning the next round. So he would love to build that type of a streak. And guess what? After winning those 2 races, he went on to win that 250 championship in 2005. So Tedesco is trying to get back in the Wayback Machine and make it happen. And how about this? Tommy Hahn is caught Andrew Short.
Yeah, and this is what's going to make it easier, I believe, for Ivan Tedesco to pull this win out is because now Short is focused on what's going on behind him, because Tommy Hahn is just inching his way closer and closer to Andrew here, and just starting to apply the pressure. Now, it's going to do one of 2 things. It can push them closer to the leader, or, you know, if it distracts them and they start having to switch up lines and, you know, Short starts thinking behind him, they're just going to drop off the pace of Tedesco, who's out front with 6.1 seconds right now, and it's climbing little by little, you know, 10th of a second here, half a second there, every lap.
I said, uh-oh, because as they went past the mechanics area, Hahn looked at the rear tire, looked down on his bike, but I think it's okay as he continues to put the pressure on Short. This would really be a career-best ride for Hahn. Not only to finish second, which he may or may not be able to do, but just to challenge, to catch Andrew Short in Short's home race. And Short, of course, with the factory Honda equipment, so we'll see if Hahn can pull it off. And remember, we always talk about confidence in this game. Obviously, Short came into this series thinking he could win the championship. He had confidence. Hahn is just starting to build. He puts in a few more rides like this, and who knows what this kid could do.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He's got it working here tonight. And Short, who wanted so badly once, I should say. This moto is almost up 10 minutes plus 2 laps, getting ahead of myself, but wants so badly to win this race here in the home state for the hometown. You know, he's got a bunch of family and friends and everything up there, but he just has not been able to match the pace of Ivan Tedesco. And now he's got something else to worry about besides his teammate who's out front. He's really getting pressure from Hahn. And Hahn right now is just flawless.
Yeah, that has been his story.
Mistake-free.
Absolutely, and he's got Short in his clutches. Now, that's been the story on Short. He's been very consistent throughout his career, and the big question this year was, could he find that little extra burst, that little extra amount of speed to win when the opportunity presented itself? He's yet to win a race in this Premier Division. He's actually come close to the championship before through consistency. And again, every time he needs that little burst, like he needed to go after Tedesco here, he just couldn't quite summon it. This is not in any way a fault on Short. The guy trains hard, the guy rides hard. He's racing the best in the world. One of these days, he figures it out. Who knows? He can do some major damage.
I mean, he's definitely, his game plan, from my perspective, is that it's all about the consistency and not making any mistakes. I think that he's came up short on these championships because he hasn't taken those little leaps of faith, you know, and kind of a little bit more risk. And so, you know, once again here tonight, he looks great, but, you know, at this point, second is not going to be good enough to win.
Right, and Honda's win budget, buying all the big championship ads, that's going to go to Tedesco if he holds on. Stay with us on Speed. Battle brewing here, 6,100 feet of elevation. It affects the bikes, it affects the riders, but it's worked out quite well for the 48 of Tommy Hahn. Jason Wigan and Jeff Emmett giving you the call, and Hahn is closing the gap.
He definitely is. He's applying the pressure, and Short's doing a great job of holding him off right here. It's a little sideways there. Oh, that's going to allow Hahn to get the inside. Can he hold it?
Oh, mistake by Hahn, but he's still going to be able to pull off the pass on Short.
How did he stand? He almost got shrugged off the bike. The front wheel skipped out a couple times. The right foot, he put it down, almost pulled him off the back, and he makes the pass finally after he's been shadowing Short here for a few laps. Just makes a great move. Now he's up into second place.
Take us through it again, Jeff. A mistake, but didn't matter.
Yeah, it was the mistake there by Short coming in, lost the drive, and Hahn right here. Look how he gets in there and just drops the hammer and just blocks that line. That inside line is just faded way out. And Short just riding that wide line, it just really opened the door.
What do you think has lit this fire into Tommy Hahn? Now, he's ridden well this year. He's been in the top 5 a couple of times, but this performance, what's the difference? Any idea?
Tommy Hahn just took a look forward. He wants to know where number 9's at.
Wow.
He's just under 8 seconds behind right now. We've got close to 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. The pace that he's on right now is, it's pretty good, but I'm telling you, well, when I take a look at it, Tedesco is still out front, putting in perfect laps. So still, this second place for Tommy Hahn, which is going to be the best of his career. It'll be the best for this team. This is a pretty impressive night of racing for Tommy Hahn, the native from Kansas. Happens to be my home state also, so get a little plug in there for the Kansas boys. But for Chad Reed here, closing up on Summers, on any other day, you would think that Reed would blow past Summers. I mean, Reed really has been on the gas, but here tonight, the mojo's not working for the number 22.
I really wonder if Reed even knows who national number 81 is, but he knows now because he's been staring at the back of that jersey for several laps. Now Reed makes the pass. That puts Reed into the number 7 position. Look at Summers trying to go back at Chad Reed. Something is just not clicking with Reed. He was 11th fastest in qualifying today. Struggled in Moto 1, got 3rd, said he was not happy with that at all, and it's a little bit worse here in Moto 2.
Well, and to put it into perspective with the last lap times, his last lap around, our leader, Ivan Tedesco, was a 2:17. Last lap around for Reed, even after making that pass, was a 2:20. 3 seconds a lap, which is very uncharacteristic for Chad Reed. You know, he told us in that soundbite how much he was looking forward to racing at night. He likes the atmosphere. He likes the track up here. They had the opportunity to actually walk the track with him and Michael Byrne yesterday. This is an event that he was really looking forward to, but just has not panned out for him, and it's kind of a mystery to me.
How about the off-road guy, Ricky Dietrich? Another phenomenal run for him, the replacement rider for Ryan Villopoto. He's 5th, but he has some company. Josh Grant is in 6th. Now, Grant took a major beating at our last race at High Point, a big crash, and then another crash in Moto 2. And do you think Josh Grant is maybe just saying to himself, I need to just get some races under my belt and recover from this, because this is a whopper.
Watch this crash here. He goes to triple this thing, cases it, goes flying over the bars, and he actually gets up pretty quick. I'm sure he was shaking, but watch this, just gets flung off the bike. And this is after, in this moto, he was the fastest man on the planet. He was flying, and you got to think that a hit like that, combined with the team going, okay, Josh, those type of things are what can hurt you, take you out of the championship. Let's mellow it out a little bit. Let's work on our consistency and build, right? You don't, I mean, he's got to build that foundation so he can make it, make it higher to the top. So
let's go down to Aaron, who has more on the 33. Aaron.
Well, guys, all day long, the Yamaha team, the TGR team, has been trying to make some changes to adapt today's track. Tire choice was the first change that they made. They changed it over to more of an intermediate tire to to handle the hard pack conditions, but the one thing that they also changed was the jetting. They've been playing with that all day. They're still making some changes, but when the temperature started to cool down a little bit, the bike is leaned out, and that way it's not running so rich. So hopefully that's all working in the best way possible for Josh Grant.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron, and that's why they have a night race here. The temperatures of the jetting makes it very difficult. What is jetting? Explain what that is.
Yeah, well, jetting, I mean, Yamaha is one of the bikes that, that actually has a carburetor. The other, most of the other bikes have fuel injection where you don't have to jet it. It does it automatically. JGR team is faced with a little more challenge than the other teams because of that. But that's what race teams do. They try to make the bike the best they can each and every time that they have the opportunity and give their rider the best chance to win.
There's less oxygen up here, so you need the bike to use less fuel to keep the mixture in perfect balance. We're running out of time in this moto. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. Jason Wygant and Jeff Emmett giving you the call here from Thunder Valley Raceway, Lakewood, Colorado. And Colorado native Andrew Short has gotten back into the #2 position. Tommy Hahn, who had passed him, went off the track. Hahn's now back to third. Obviously, conditioning paying off for Andrew Short. One of the big tools for fitness in motocross, the heart rate monitor. We talked to Andrew Short about that piece of equipment earlier this weekend.
Motocross is a really demanding sport, and a lot of people just assume that you sit on a bike from the outside looking on in, but anybody that's ridden a bike knows how physically demanding it is, and it ranks up there with soccer and a lot of other intense sports. Altitude is going to play a huge role, especially being here in Denver at 6,000 feet. The recovery, you're going to be breathing a lot harder, especially when you're banging bars with everybody else, and before you know it, you're going to be short of breath and you're going to start making mistakes. It's key to watching your heart rate. There's different zones, and with motocross you experience all of them, including a lot of high end. And emotions and everything else play a role, especially when you line up with 40 other guys, and you'll quickly find yourself high up in the heart rate range, and you need the recovery because you can't sustain that pace for so long, and that's when you make mistakes and crash. So it is really critical when you're racing and training for motocross to train with heart rate zones.
All right, that's Andrew Short, the heart rate. That's really what it comes down to. That's the measure of the effort these guys are putting in.
Well, there's no doubt that that sort of training, and you can take a look here at the resting heart rates for Andrew Short is really low. The average person is upwards of 20 beats higher, and Andrew Short he'll redline up around 190, which is pretty high. And these guys they train with intensity, they train with duration, and like he was talking about these different zones. And another thing he was talking about is the recovery. And so once you redline, can you bring it back down? And like Andrew Short here, this moto got some pressure from Tommy Hahn. Heart rate probably went up, but then he got a chance to relax here a little bit and recover, bring your heart rate back down. And when I'm talking recover, bringing it down, maybe 15 or 20 beats is going to make all the difference in the world.
So that's still like 170 or so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
To maintain that is amazing. Here's Chad Reed. He has worked his way now up into 7th. He's gotten around Cody Cooper. So a little bit better for our series points leader, but not enough. Short actually will take over 2nd in the points after this, with Alessi scoring no points today. And tough for Tedesco in the points. He scored 0 points in our opener in Glen Helen. So consistency is still paying off for Reed.
Yeah, but this is an interesting race. He qualified 11th, way off the pace. He said 7th now. On the first lap, he was 9th. And he's only 7th now, so there's definitely something going on with Chad Reed and the number 22. It just seems like that the motivation and all that, the intensity is gone. But for number 29 and 48, this is a whole new race, because once again, just as Short thinks that, okay, maybe I got 2nd wrapped up. Here comes Tommy Hahn once again back to battle here with just under 2 laps to go.
Man, I wonder what the heart rate of Tommy Hahn's been in this moto. He's got to be redline. The kid just keeps on digging from Kansas. Heck, if anyone should struggle in elevation, it should be from Kansas, but it's working for him right now.
Yeah, we're at about 2 feet.
2 feet elevation. But Short, who his trainer, Jeff Spencer, said because he grew up here, kind of has muscle memory. His body's able to adjust to that altitude maybe a little bit more quickly than some of the other riders. We'll see, because he's going to deal with some pressure, the man from the flatlands of Kansas, but we're running out of time for Hahn to make that move because the white flag is out. And Ivan Tedesco, by the way, folks, he's about to win his first ever race on a 450 in AMA Pro Motocross.
Yeah, this battle here is shaping up with 1 to go. Now, Ivan Tedesco's, he's backed up the pace a little bit. He's only 5 seconds ahead right now. He was upwards of 7 or 8, but you got to think right now, Nerves are kind of setting in. He doesn't want to make any mistakes. He's got to stay focused, and he's going to win this overall here today, or tonight here in Colorado. And you just can't say enough about this ride other than that he has totally dominated.
Yeah.
I mean, total domination. Whole shot both motos. Check out. That's the way to do it. That's the, you know, the gear stays nice and clean. You don't have to pull any tear-offs. You look great in the photo ops. You know, you look nice and purdy up on the podium. And that's what every rider dreams for.
Tedesco's from New Mexico, but he would cross the state line and race in Colorado quite a bit as a youngster growing up. He's obviously comfortable on this track. This is where he won his first ever race in the 250 class. That's the support class to this 450 division. A couple of years ago, that's where Tedesco took his first career win, right here at this racetrack.
Oh, and there's no doubt that when we talked about that muscle memory, I'm a firm believer in that you go to these tracks and you have these good memories, and it just brings about all this positive energy that he's won here before. You know, was in a different class, but it just gives you that little bit of extra confidence that you can do it again, as opposed to a track that maybe you've always struggled at. So you come in there, you're fighting those demons, all those negative thoughts. Here, Ivan Tedesco, he's a half a lap away from totally putting it together. How happy the wife, his new son, Hunter, is going to be. And he watches the video some years from now about Daddy winning the big race at Thunder Valley. This is going to be awesome.
The kid works so hard. Hunter maybe too, but I mean his dad, Tedesco, stays at Ricky Carmichael's house, trains with Johnny O'Mara, one of the all-time greats of this sport. He's a multi-time champ himself, Johnny O. But even with all that hard work, it was a tough Supercross season for Tedesco. Even hard work alone isn't enough in this sport. You've got to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and that's exactly what Tedesco has done. Here it is, folks. It's been a long time coming, but Ivan Tedesco is going to win both motos and the overall here at the night race in Colorado. And look at Short and Hahn as Tedesco was enjoying that victory lap. Those two nearly caught him. What a race.
What a ride for Ivan Tedesco.
Absolutely.
Takes home his first overall.
We'll be back to talk to these guys right after this. Wednesdays on the all-new American Thunder, Colby and Charity take you to the edge of the V-twin culture. From custom shops to the wildest rallies, it's biker's paradise. The all-new American Thunder, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. One happy guy, Ivan Tedesco, taking a victory lap, riding right through the spectator area. It's our Geico moment. Very happy, Ivan Tedesco. Here's moto number 1. He takes the win, ear-to-ear grin under that helmet. And he did the same thing in Moto 2, Jeff. And everybody's happy for this guy. He's one of the good guys of the sport. Man, let's show you the results. Look at how close Short and Hahn got. And we show you the results. You'll never know how close they were. You'll just know the order they finished in. Tedesco, Short, Hahn. Byrne, a solid ride for 4th. Grant got by Dietrich. And Chad Reed 7th. Let's go down to Aaron with Andrew Short.
Well, guys, Andrew Short made it through a very difficult day, made your way back up onto the podium, celebrating a hot lap, even though you didn't take that win. Take us through tonight's track. Obviously, you guys were racing under artificial light. How deceiving was this track?
It was deceiving. Those lights are crazy. These fans are amazing to me, and I wish I would have had a little more speed to get that win, but 2-2 is good, and Tommy Hahn gave me a good fight, so I'm pumped for Honda Red Bull Racing.
Andrew, what else is going to take? A little bit left in the tank to take home a win?
I need more speed. It's just simple as that. Ivan smoked me today. I have some in the tank, just need to work on a few things.
Congratulations on a successful day.
All right, the fans are pumped. Their boys on the podium. That's Andrew Short. We'll be back to talk to our winner, Ivan Tedesco, when we return live from Colorado. Racing is done, but in case somehow you missed it all, we'll give it to you again in our Lucas Oil race recap. Exciting in both motos today. It starts with the drama of Mike Alessi with a broken kneecap trying to race in Moto 1, Jeff.
And watch this. He gets a good start, gets shuffled back, and then Grant just comes in and just completely takes out the front wheel, and in turn takes Mike Alessi out of this championship once again.
Oh, the pain says it all for Mike Alessi. Ivan Tedesco got the whole shot, led and won Moto number 1. He does the exact same thing under the lights here in Moto 2. Had a challenge there from his teammate Andrew Short early on, but there was no stopping Andrew Tedesco on this day. The number 9 just on fire in both motos and put him in the record books as the first time ever winner in the big class. As for Chad Reed, our series leader, tough day.
Yeah, he really just did not have the speed, the motivation, something. The mojo just wasn't working. But for Ivan Tedesco, number 9, this was a big night because he dominated here in Colorado.
He wins both motos. That makes the math very easy for us. You go 1-1. You're number 1 on the day overall. Here it is. So it is Tedesco, your overall winner for the day. Short, another solid, consistent ride, second, and Tommy Hahn on the podium. Well done.
And look at this here. Tedesco, 50 points. That's a nice way to make up for starting the series with 0 points.
Exactly. Let's go down to the podium with Aaron.
Well, it's safe to say that Ivan Tedesco definitely has got his groove back after leading every single lap there was to lead today. Ivan, what does this mean to you to back up your first moto, that wasn't a fluke? You took home the Moto #2 win as well.
Man, it feels great. It's been a long time. I haven't won an outdoor national since 2005, and I won my first one here in the lights class, so I've got one on the 450 class now, and yeah, I'm excited. I couldn't do it without my team, Honda, Red Bull Racing, all the guys at Fox, Oakley, Dunlop Tires, DVS Shoes, and my whole family, Dr. G. There's a big group of guys that help us out, and I want to say hi to my wife and my new baby boy, Hunter.
You said that this one was a tough one, that this was probably one of the roughest races there was. Take us through what it means not only to have won this, but what it was especially about this track that you ended up prevailing.
I don't know, I've always rode good here ever since they've had it and started racing here in 05, and I just had a good day, got 2 hole shots, led every lap today, and I can't complain. It was a good day for me, and my teammate was riding good. Andrew got second on the day, and I couldn't be happier.
Congratulations on not only your victory, but your victory for Honda.
With Aaron.
Tommy Hahn makes his way up to the podium for the very first time in his 450 career. Tommy, we've said it time and time again, but this is probably one of the toughest ones to make it up here, and here you are. What does this moment mean?
Well, it means a lot. I just rode my butt off, and I'd like to thank Canada Motorsport, Kawasaki Pro Circuit, Scott Dunlop, my mechanic, my whole team, my mom, my dad, my brother, everyone that's behind me, my girlfriend back home. Love them all. Thank you.
Congratulations on a great battle with the front runners. Way to make your way up here.
All right, Tommy Hahn is on the podium in the big class, but the biggest smiles are reserved for that man, Ivan Tedesco, delivering Honda's first win since 2007 when Kevin Windham got the win in upstate New York's Unadilla. Well done. And how does it affect the points? Well, Tedesco started out with a 0 score in Glen Helen. He's climbing closer. He's within 35 now. That's within 1 weekend of racing. With a tough day for Chad Reed, Jeff. This championship is still good.
It's been unpredictable all the way, and tonight was just as unpredictable, and Tedesco's back in it.
Now, they always say in racing, once you get one under your belt, it might just get easier to get another. Can Tedesco get another win? Well, you got to stay with us on Speed. SpeedTV.com for all the information. It's been great having you with us live at the night race. For Jeff Emig and Aaron Bates, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching, and congratulations to Ivan Tedesco, our winner from Colorado.